we are going to cover this topic, which is the creation of cost center and cost center groups. But before we can create a cost center, we need another main object to be created, which is the controlling area. Controlling area is an object which will come before the cost centers. If I were to draw the hierarchy here, controlling area will be something like this. Controlling area, and under the controlling area you will have the cost centers, and let's say it's cost center A, cost center B, cost center C, cost center D, and so forth. Okay. This will be the hierarchy for you to understand how the controlling area will fit into the cost centers. Oops, my lines are broken. Pardon me for that. Okay. Now, can you see the picture here? If you want to create a range of cost centers, all the cost centers must come under the umbrella of controlling area. So without the controlling area, you can't even create the cost centers. So our first step today is, before we create the cost centers, we need to create the controlling area. Because the reason why SAP has designed in this way is that when you create a controlling area, you can specify certain parameters which is going to be common for all the cost centers. So, such as currency. One good example is currency. We need to define a currency to manage the figures in the controlling area. So the currency is going to be same for all the cost centers. So rather than specifying a currency parameter in each and every cost center, SAP allows us to specify the parameter at the root object, which is the controlling area. So any cost center which comes under this controlling area will use the same currency. So this is the reason why SAP requires us to define all the common parameters for the cost centers under the root object, which is the controlling area, so that it'll be easier. So let us do that now. Okay. This is the place where you have to create the controlling area. It is under controlling, general controlling, organization, maintain controlling area. Then just execute it. Choose the second option, which is maintain controlling area. You will see all the controlling areas which has already been created. Just check out one controlling area as an example. Let's go for USA. Alright, this looks like US. Yep. Double click on it. Can you see the common parameters which has been defined at the controlling area level? So these are the common parameters. As I told you, currency is one of it. When you define a currency in the controlling area level, which is at this level, it will be used by all the cost centers. Okay, and so is many other parameters like fiscal year variant, chart of accounts. All these are common parameters which will be used by all the cost centers. So similarly, we're going to create a new one. You can click the new entries here to create a new one, or you can go back and come under the main module and click new entries. It's the same. So we have to create a controlling area for our Sun organization. Just create Sun controlling area. There's a description. person responsible is not necessary. So we have two options under the assignment control. This is, we have to choose this if you have only one company code in the entire organization, or if you have a group of companies under one organization, then you better choose this. Alright, cross company code cost accounting, so that you can assign more than one company code under this controlling area. If you choose the first one, the relationship between the controlling area and company code is 1-to-1. You cannot have a range of company codes under the controlling area, right? So choose this cost company code. Currency type, choose controlling area currency 20. Okay, this is just an information message. You can click through it, and the currency you're going to choose is USD. Oops, let's just key it in. It's faster that way. This is not a required entry, just leave it. So you see the tick mark here, which means that even though the controlling currency is USD, your each and every company code can use a different currency. Alright, this is a typical case in a big organization which has got lots of companies around the globe. So that if you have a HQ in US and another company in China, manufacturing company, the Chinese company can use yuan, and the HQ company in US can use USD, and the controlling can be done in US currency. Alright, now chart of accounts, you need to enter Sun chart of accounts. Let's choose that over here. Then fiscal year variant, you must use the same fiscal year variant that Sun company code is using. I'm not sure which is the fiscal year that the company Sun company code is using. Let's check it out. Let's go here, go to SPRO. The wrong place here. Let me go to general ledger accounting, GL accounts, master data, preparations, assign company code to chart of accounts. Yes, and Sun is using, oh sorry, I'm not talking about chart of accounts. I need to find the fiscal year variant, right? Right, let's close this. Fiscal year variant will be somewhere here. Assign company code to fiscal year variant. Yep, this is the one. Yes, company code Sun. Yep, is using K4. So let's use K4 then. K4. So cost center, standard hierarchy. Okay, this is a required entry, but we have not created one yet. Let me see what we can do about it. Let me key in Sun here. Cost center, standard hierarchy. Alright, you can leave the rest empty. Let's save it. See, it's asking the standard hierarchy that we entered is not available in the system yet because we are not created yet. So should the system create the Sun standard hierarchy, you can click yes or no. You better click yes so the system can create it automatically for you. This is a standard hierarchy. I will explain why this is needed, the cost center standard hierarchy, because in the actual way how the system stores the cost centers in the controlling area is using another sub entity called standard hierarchy. So the standard hierarchy will come somewhere here, standard hierarchy. So if you can imagine now, so the standard hierarchy is the one which will have a one-to-one link with the controlling area, and all the other cost centers will come under standard hierarchy. So this is how the structure will be. So that's why it's asking for a standard hierarchy. Just click yes and you are done with it. Let's click through this message. Just bear in mind that we haven't assigned any company code yet to this controlling area. So before that comes under second step, but before that we need to activate some components for this controlling area. Let us see what is that. It's clear. Okay, let's go to activate the components indicator. You come here, just click new entries. It says no company code has been assigned to controlling area assigned yet, and exit. Alright, doesn't really matter. Let's go back again. We need to assign the company code first to the controlling area, only then we can go to that. Let us do that now. And then in controlling area, so we went to this just now, right? So let us go to assignment of company code. Let's choose my controlling area first. Instead of going here first, you have to go here, assignment of company codes, then click new entries. You assign the Sun company code. Alright, can enter Sun company code to this controlling area. Although there are many other company codes in the system, you can see only these three company codes because only these company codes are not yet assigned to a controlling area yet. So that's why it's showing this. Save it. Then now go to activate components. Click new entries. Yeah. So the error message has disappeared because we have already assigned a company code. This means that under the controlling area, you need to assign a company code. Alright. We have assigned the Sun company code under the controlling area. So if I have to draw the proper hierarchy now, it will come like this. The Sun company code will be in between. So this is the proper physical arrangement. So something like this. So Sun company code has been assigned to controlling area. Under the Sun company code you will have standard hierarchy where you will have the cost centers. Let's go back now. Right, these components that we are going to activate is valid for physical year that you're going to enter. So for one controlling area you can have multiple fiscal year defined, and for each fiscal year you can have this component active or deactivated. Alright, we're going to specify the fiscal year of 2009, and I'm going to activate this component active so that I can create any cost centers under this controlling area. If it is not active, you can't create the cost centers under this controlling area. So let's activate it. Order management is internal orders, so let's activate it, or I'll activate it later on when we come to that topic. And profit center accounting you have to tick if you want to activate it. You can activate later on, doesn't really matter, otherwise you are done. So since we are at the cost center topic, let's activate only the cost centers and click save. When we come to profit center accounting, I'll come back here, revisit this page and activate this profit center accounting so that we can start using profit center accounting. Now save, and you are done. You are done creating the, see, this information is automatically derived. Okay, go back all the way, and you're done with it. So you have successfully created the controlling area. Alright, let me create a subsection here, creating controlling area and activating. Just leave it like this. Now let me just change like the setting control area parameters for cost center accounting. Oh, it's okay. I don't want to create another topic for that. Let us move on. Let us move on to create the cost center. Okay, now we are done with the controlling area, creation of controlling area. This is done, and we have assigned a Sun company code to controlling area, and we have also created a standard hierarchy, and what is pending is the creation of cost centers. Let's do that now. Go to the root menu over here and expand this, and you come to cost center accounting, master data, cost center, and individual cost processing, create. Just create, and see, it's asking for a controlling area. You need to enter the Sun controlling area that we have created just now. It will be here. Click OK. So we're going to create, and we're going to create a cost center for department 1. Let's do that now. How shall we call it? Shall we call it like this? Yep, valid from 1st of 2009, because our financial year starts from 2009. Press enter. Department 1. Alright, let me explain a little bit about this valid from, why we need to enter this date. In SAP gives us a flexibility for us to define a validity period for each cost center, so that the same cost center name can be how should I say, a cost center can be defined only for a period using the valid from and to. So if you try to post any amount to this cost center A beyond the period it is defined for, the system will reject that. So that's why it has got a validity period. So by defining the validity period as this, whereby it's valid from 01/01/2009 to forever, this is forever until 10,000 years, I am telling the system that this cost center is going to be valid for wherever, and the amounts can be posted to these cost centers until this year, but not before this date. If I'm going to post an amount in 2008 for this cost center, the system will reject it. Alright, that's the purpose of this. The usage of the date fields for cost centers is very important, because sometimes within an organization there can be many rearrangements. They can dissolve a department and create a new one, or split the department into two and dissolve the main one. So when that happens, if this department is dissolved in 2011, we can actually set the date here, valid from date to 2011, so that any period, any postings after the 2011 will not be posted to this department. Okay, if the department is dissolved, then we can just set the date here as the dissolve date somewhere in 2011, so that the system will not take into account this cost center for any postings after this period. That's one typical example of business example how you're going to use the valid from and valid to date. So let's give it a name, long name department 1, description same thing, person responsible, the head of the department, let's say check or something. Alright, the difference between user responsible and person responsible is a free text, you can enter anything you want, but the user responsible is actually comes from the SAP user IDs. So you can see the SAP user IDs that can be chosen from, so you can choose anybody. So it is not a free text. So in a typical example, once you have entered Jack, you must enter the Jack's SAP user ID over here, right? But you can also leave it empty if you want to. Department is, this is another field to enter the actual department name for this cost center. For whatever reason, if you have defined a different cost center name for department, you can enter the actual department here. But in this case, we are using the same department name for this department, so we don't have to enter anything here. Or if you want to enter something, just enter department 1. It's the same thing, right? Cost center category is to define the type of this department, so just simply choose administration department, no issue. And hierarchy area is Sun. The moment you, let me clear this again, the moment you press this, there's only one entry we have created when we create the controlling area, which is Sun hierarchy. Remember the standard hierarchy here that we created, right? So that is automatically loaded here, and so that this department will be parked under this hierarchy area. The hierarchy can be, standard hierarchy can be many. For example, you can have many standard hierarchies, 1, 2 and 3, and all of it can come under one controlling area. There's no issue on that. Okay, now business area is required. Alright, you know why the system is asking for a business area? Right. Business area is something which is obsolete, but we have forgotten to disable the flag, a particular flag in the company code. That's why the system is asking for a business area here. Let me show the place. See this? Under financial accounting global settings, company code, enter global parameters. If we go here and look for our Sun company code, you realize that the business area financial statement has been ticked on. That is in this global parameters over the company code. We have many parameters to be defined in the global parameters, so we did not disable this option. That's why the system is asking for a business area. If you have disabled this, then the system will not ask for business area when you create a cost center. Okay, just select a business area, for example any existing one, doesn't really matter. We are not going to use business area in our example, and you're good to save. Let's go to control. Okay, you get a message, profit center accounting is active but non-profit center specified. I'm not sure why we are getting this message, because we have not activated the profit center accounting yet. I can show that to you. Remember, I told you that we will activate that when we come to the accounting. Right, let's check it again. So we have not activated this, right? So I'm not sure why the system is saying that profit center accounting is already active. I can't explain that, I'm sorry, but anyway, just leave it empty and then proceed, because it's a yellow message. The control, this is a few controls which we are not going to go through now, because if I go through it, it will get complicated, it will get confused and the whole thing will become complicated. I'll explain to you one important control parameter, which is record quantity. If you check this, then if you post any quantity to record quantity, you just have to check this, but we are not going to use any quantity in our example, so just proceed to save this minimum information. Now save this. So by saving this, you'll be creating the first cost center in your system. You see it has been created. So we have created a cost center for this department, right? Let's proceed to create a cost center for department 2 and 3. You can just use a reference cost center, just this, enter 2, so it will be copied from here. Must also enter the controlling area, so this way we don't have to enter the same information again. You can see the information has been copied from the department 1. Just change it to 2, just leave it as check, doesn't really matter, or you can, if you want to change, you can change it as well. The rest remains the same. Alright, okay, now these things are filled up, but can you see this functional area? We never entered this functional area when we created our first department, so how is it automatically populated in the department 1 and also department 2? 0400 administration. It is because, remember, when we specify the cost center category as 4, right, it is also administration. The system will derive the functional area from the cost center category. Let me show you how. Come here, okay, financial accounting global settings, company code, costs of sales accounting, enter function area in cost center categories. When I click this and go to cost center category of 4 administration, you can see that functional area 0400 has already been defaulted for this cost center category. So this is why the system is automatically populating 0400 when you select the cost center category of 4. So this explains that, but we are not going to use cost of sales accounting, so you can also blank this off, or you just leave it as it is, doesn't really matter. Just proceed to save. So we will be creating our department 2 now. And one more thing, the USD, you can click through this message, the error message. This currency USD, remember I told you that we are not going to enter your currency for each and every department or cost center. It will be copied from the controlling area settings, where we have already specified the currency as a common parameter. So proceed to save this, department 2, and for department 3 enter the same. So department 3, and the same thing. Proceed to save, press enter, and the final department, which is department 4, and I'm going to save it. So I have effectively created all the 4 cost centers which is required, right? Let us cost center. So creation of cost centers is done. Let us create a cost center groups now. Cost center groups will be useful when we want to create group the cost centers to a group. Let's say I want to group these two under one cost center group and these two under a different cost center group for easier reporting. So let us do that now. Where is it? Cost center group, create. For whatever reasons you want to group identical departments, or how should I say, 2 different or 3 different cost centers which has got some commonalities, and you want to group them together for reporting purposes, you can do so using this function, group 1. So I'm going to create group 1 cost center group 1, and I'm going to assign the lower level cost center Sun department. Oh, I've done something wrong. Let me delete this. Select and delete. Yes. Oh, you don't ever choose delete because you will delete all the cost centers that we have created. Just choose remove, then the lower level, insert cost center, lower level. Let's say I have one more lower level, cost center group 1, subgroup 1, subgroup 1, and then I'm going to insert the cost centers here as cost center. I'm going to group department 1 and department 2 under subgroup 1, and subgroup 2 I'm going to same level, and I'm going to enter subgroup 2, subgroup 2, and I'm going to insert the cost centers of department 3 and department 4. We can also enter like this, right? Not necessarily you need to enter here, because if we have a range of cost centers to be defined under subgroup 2, you can enter the range here. Or if you want to enter the departments individually, you can use the bottom fields like this, and you're going to save it now. No valid master record. Why is it so? Let me check. This is strange. We already have the cost center. It says no valid master record. I'm not sure why. Let me go back and check it again. Display. I'm going to display this no valid master record. Why is it so? Something is not right. Let me check. Group 1, subgroup 1, subgroup 2, something to do with the validity period. So what is the validity? Okay, I believe the reason why it's showing no valid master record is because, as it's stated here, if the object is time based such as cost center, the system determines the association period based on the date. The validity period of the object must include the complete period. So if you look at my system date, it is pointing to 11th 1999, but the actual validity period that I have entered in the master data of the respective department is dated 2009. So obviously the system is not going to show you those departments here unless you have the system date of 2009, which will include the validity period of these departments. So but however, whatever it may be, basically this is how you have to create the cost center groups. So essentially, once you have done that, these cost center A and B will be grouped under subgroup 1, and 3 and 4 will be grouped under subgroup 2, and both of subgroup 1 and 2 will be under group 1. So this is some sort of grouping the different cost centers into a logical grouping, so that you can use this grouping in reporting. This don't get misunderstood that this grouping here is should be identical with your organization structure. These groupings need not to be identical to your organization structure. So these are independent. These groupings are independent of the organization structure. These are purely used for reporting purposes. So for example, when you move the department 1 and 2 under the subgroup 1, it doesn't mean that you need to have a company called subgroup 1 or department called subgroup 1 within your organization which contains department 1 and 2. No, it doesn't mean that. These groups does not have an identical object, real life object within your company. Right? With that, I've completed this topic here. Then we move on to creation of cost center standard hierarchy topic next.